last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game now? Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change, yeah. Tell them that's life, yeah, it's still love it. I'm taking a shot for my enemies. I can't waste no more time on my energy. I know they know I got it on lock. Go against me, that's a long shot. Cause I'm counting wins all around the clock. Never doubt me, boy, I don't stop. Who do you feel when they make you the monster? I am not scared of none of you imposters. Taking the lead now while they watching. Think you should leave now while the option. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. I'm running the game now. Foot on the gas, can slow down, no.
Let's fucking go. What we gonna do, man? What we gonna do? Just rename the podcast the Ty Jerome Show, because this dude just continues to do the impossible almost every single night. Whether he's starting, whether he's coming off the bench, he just be cooking motherfuckers. I mean, seriously, big component of the Cavaliers' 122-108 victory over the Toronto Raptors. The Cavaliers, with tonight's win, have now at the very least guaranteed themselves a season split with the Toronto Raptors, taking 2 out of 4 already. They will do battle with them twice more throughout the season, but I have the utmost confidence that these boys can continue to send these Canadian bastards packing. I mean, it's been great. It has been great basketball from this Cavaliers team as they now advance to 17-1. And guess what? A perfect 10-0 at home. Still undefeated at home. You got to love the shit, man. The Cavaliers are protecting that home court. The fans, they're making themselves felt out there. No fear, right? No, absolutely no fear. This was as balanced a performance as you are probably going to see from this Cavaliers team. You got double-doubles out of each front court member. You got Darius, Garland, and Donovan Mitchell combining for 9 triples. You got Ty Jerome with 26 goddamn points off the bench. I mean, seriously. And you know what? The best part about tonight was seeing Scotty Barnes struggling. Scotty Barnes, yes, the stat line does read 18.7 rebounds, 7 assists. If you just looked at that without watching this game, you think, Scotty Barnes actually had a pretty good game. But Scotty wet the bed a little bit. It was, coming back from an orbital fracture. You got to give him that. He's missed some time, but he looked shitty tonight. The Cavaliers definitely made him work for every bucket that he got. He surrendered a lot of points at the free throw line, going to just 7 of 12. And it just showed that he just can't do anything against this Cavaliers front court. Evan Mobley just owns. And Jared Allen whacked him. He whacked him in the fourth quarter, and I felt bad for him because, again, he's coming back off of an orbital fracture, and anybody who's ever dealt with a facial injury, hell, we saw DG break his jaw last season. We saw DG get his eye damn near gouged out back in 2022-23 against this same Toronto Raptors team. Gary Trent Jr., goddamn. Anyways, it was nice to see Scotty Barnes and company take yet another L to this Cavaliers team, who is now off to a 17-1 start, and it is beginning very, very difficult to see this team as anything else other than a title contender. Yes, I get it. I understand. There's a big difference between the Torontos of the world and the Boston Celtics of the world. There's a huge gap in between those two types of franchises. But when you're the Cavaliers and you still don't have Caris LeVert, we'll be talking about him in a minute. Very interesting conversation we're going to have about Caris LeVert. You still don't have Dean Wade. He did not suit up tonight. Max Strus has yet to play this season. This team is not even playing up to its full capacity. We're not even playing at full strength, and we're out here doing this shit. Another game, ladies and gentlemen, in which the Cavaliers have crossed the 100-point barrier. Another game, ladies and gentlemen, the Cavaliers have crossed 120 points or more. I've said this every single stream. I truly do believe that this Cavaliers team will end up becoming one of the rare teams in NBA history to score 100 points or more in every single game of an NBA season. If I am not mistaken, I believe the only team to ever do that was the 1981-82 Denver Nuggets. There could be more out there, but per my research, I think that is the only team to ever accomplish that feat. The Cavaliers can do that and then some. That team did not go to the NBA Finals, by the way. I think that this Cavaliers team can get there. We all know the team that stands in the Cavaliers' way. It is Boston. We know we got some demons to get rid of, to figure out before December 1st. We got to get Darius Garland playing like an all-star against that team. I cannot wait for that the December 1st matchup. And I know you're not supposed to overlook your competition, as we do have a back-to-back with the Atlanta Hawks on Wednesday and Friday. But it is very, very hard for me after the start to the season that we have had, after that game against Boston, to just not jump ahead to December 1st. I'm trying so damn hard not to look past Atlanta, because you never want to overlook your opponents at all, because anybody can win on any given day in this thing that they call the NBA. But Boston, that's the game that I am looking forward to next. Screw Atlanta. I want to see Boston, Cleveland at home, where the Cavaliers are perfect. I'm so goddamn ready to see that. The Cavaliers, man, it's crazy the type of production that Kenny Atkinson and company have managed to pull out of this roster. Ty Jerome, it must have been one hell of a year off for this guy, because this motherfucker came back playing like a man possessed. I mean, seriously, he is coming back playing like a, not screw sixth man of the year. He looks like a legitimate all-star out there. If Ty Jerome did not play for the Cleveland Cavaliers, we might be looking at a situation in which Ty Jerome is putting up all-star numbers. I mean, seriously, if there was no Darius Garland, no Donovan Mitchell on the roster, this man could probably be playing himself into an all-star consideration, like seriously, an all-star berth. That is how impactful he has been, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. And we saw him against New Orleans, right, where he dropped 7 triples in the first half, becoming the first Cavalier, one of 4 Cavaliers rather, to put up 7 triples in one half. But at the end of the day, he's on the bench. Let's squash the conversation. I saw that. I have seen that come up a number of times already. Darius Garland is not in any danger of having his role usurped by Ty Jerome. What he could be in danger of is having his minutes taken away. That is a real conversation that could potentially have to be talked about down the line. If Ty Jerome continues to perform the way that he has, and Darius Garland may stink it up in a game or two, right? So the thing that I will be keeping an eye on most is Kenny Atkinson's willingness to pull players like Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell or Karis LeVert, or whoever else may be out there, where he feels Ty Jerome could better give this team a chance. Tonight is not a game that you can necessarily utilize to say, to prove that point, as Darius did contribute, right? 16 points, 6 assists, 6 of 14 from the field, 4 triples, plus 15 on the night, highest plus minus in the starting lineup. But I'll say this: games like Boston, where Darius Garland struggles, it is such a good thing to have a player like Ty Jerome on your bench. Such a good thing, because a lot of times what he does is he comes in and he steadies the ship. There were a couple of points tonight in which Toronto, they kind of did their thing. They took advantage of Cleveland's carelessness with the basketball, and they managed to climb back into it. I mean, they got off to a hot start, right? Cleveland got off to a hot start and ended the first quarter rather, up 38-22, but then got really, really sloppy in the second frame, which allowed Toronto to climb back into it In the game of basketball, what do we know? We know that it does not matter the opponent. It could be the weakest fucking team in the league. If you get careless or sloppy with the basketball, it can be really, really easy, especially considering how prevalent the three ball is in today's game for a opponent, your ops to get back into said game. And that is exactly what happened at specific points tonight. Toronto, they would manage to outscore Cleveland as a result, 33-27 in the second quarter. Ty Jerome was reinserted kind of midway through that second, and he kind of steadied the ship, right? And while they were able to cut the lead to 10, I still feel pretty confident whenever Ty Jerome is in the game. And then it says, it speaks just how impactful he can be when this dude entered the half, coming off the bench as the leader among all scorers with 17 points on a very efficient 6 of 9 from the field, including 3 of 6 from three-point distance, entering the half. Not the game, the half. This man can do anything. Seriously, I am convinced that Ty Jerome can do everything and anything out there. Defense, offense. I don't know what you need. Coach. I mean, I really don't know what this dude cannot do. And it's gotten me to a point where I'm like, if we did have to move on from Karras, I don't know what that looks like. I came into the season feeling like this was going to be his last year whatsoever. No matter what occurred during the season, I felt that Karras LeVert was going to be moved. But then he started off the season playing at a 6 man of the year caliber pace himself. 2 great players off the bench you have. But we know what the inevitable conversation is surrounding Karras, who is on an expiring contract, right? It's redundancy in regards to some of what he does. It's okay, do we lose him for nothing potentially in the offseason if you're not able to resign him? It's opening up roles for guys who are kind of waiting behind him for the opportunity to get out there. There's a lot of things that the Cavaliers are going to have to figure out in regards to Karras LeVert. But I'll say this. If they do have to move on from Karras, Ty Jerome easily helps ease the blow of moving on from him. Remember, we do not have Max Strus back yet. Strus isn't even back out there yet. These are the things that they're going to have to figure out. But I'll just say this: if they have to move on from Karras eventually, it does me a real solid that I know that Ty Jerome is there to kind of pick up the pieces. So I don't know. This is a conversation we'll eventually have to have tonight, but it just goes to show how impactful that this man can be. That even in games where Karras and Max aren't out there, Ty Jerome can completely take over. It's insane. It is literally insane the amount of efficiency that he's playing with, the impact that he has on the defensive end. More steals tonight. Just absolutely crazy impact that he has been able to give this team. Ty Jerome, again, would finish tonight with 26 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 4 goddamn steals, adding to that huge steal total, probably even more deflections. I can't wait until that stat is released. He was a very efficient 9 of 14 from the field, 4 of 8 from three-point distance. He was tied with George Niang. Oh, that's a conversation. Y'all know that's my boy. But holy hell, this was not a George Niang game at all. George Niang, sorry to pivot on you, but George Niang would go 1 of 13. You heard that correctly. Don't pause. You heard that correctly. 1 of 13 from the field, including a dreadful, just absolutely ice cold, frigid, frozen, whatever fucking cold word you want to use. 0 of 8 from three-point distance. The man would finish the night with a little over 19 minutes of action, 19 minutes, 18 seconds. In those minutes, he would put up 2 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He would draw 3 fouls. Well, not draw. He would earn 3 fouls, 3 personals, and go 1 of 13, including 1 of 8 from the field. Absolutely atrocious performance by Niang. And I'll say this. Look, George has actually had the best start to any NBA season that he has ever had. This has been the most impactful basketball of his career. So let that be known. I'm not going to use this one performance similarly to the way I'm not going to use the game against Boston as a performance that really says anything about Darius Garland. I'm not going to use either of those performances. What I will say is this was not his night. He was not knocking down shots at all. He was shitty from that perspective. It was not a good performance from him. He still holds value as a floor spacer, and even when that is the case, though, because they know the defenses when I say the defenses know that he is at least a respectable shot maker from range, so he can generate gravity out there. And I guess without having Dean Wade available, with not completely trusting a player like JT Thor, who I'm pretty sure the Charge played today, so I'm not even sure Thor was actually available. But yeah, Thor was not even available, but at the end of the day, no Dean Wade out there, no real other option outside of Tristan Thompson in your front court. You're going to continue to play George Niang, who's had a pretty solid start to the season. And it makes me feel like, the shooting performance is not going to continue, because prior to tonight's game, over his last 4, George had actually been very, very efficient from three-point distance. Over his last 4 games prior to tonight, he was actually shooting 14 of 29, or rather 48.3% from three-point distance. He had actually begun to raise that three-point percentage up to 38% as a whole prior to tonight. But I'll tell you, this was not a good performance by George whatsoever. So to have a performance like that from George that's on one end of the spectrum where he's just shitty as hell, to having a performance from Jerome, who is excellent, right, is phenomenal. You get 26 from Jerome and you get 2 from Niang. The bench as a whole, which is obviously basically all Ty Jerome, would contribute. Let's see here: 29, 31, 33 points. 33 points from the bench. Most of that is Ty Jerome, but Sam Merrill would contribute 3. George with his 2. Craig Porter Jr. would see action tonight with 2 points as well. Ty Jerome was the bench tonight. He was the bench tonight. And you know what? I'm not complaining, because we're 17-1. You got Ty playing like a bona fide all-star off of your bench, and you're not even at your full complement of rotation players yet. Still no Dean, still no Max, still no Karras. And that feels good when you can have a 122 to 108 victory over an opponent. Anytime you can do that without some of your rotation players, always feels good. Another big point of another big talking point tonight: Jaylen Tyson, fresh off of that great performance against the Pelicans, in which he became the first Cavs rookie, might I add, since Samardo Samuels to put up a double-double in his first career start. Fresh off of that performance, Jaylen Tyson earned himself a real rotational spot tonight. Is that going to continue moving forward? I'm not sure. Frankly, I don't think so, because you don't have Karras right now. If Karras is back, there's absolutely no way Jaylen Tyson's playing over Karras LeVert. But at the end of the day, it makes you feel good coming off that performance that you know that this kid can do some things out there. But Tyson, even though he was given a spot tonight, we heard prior to the game from Kenny Atkinson that Jaylen Tyson would find himself in a real situation to play real minutes, that he would play tonight, but he only saw the court for 7 minutes and went 0-2 from the field. No points tonight, just a rebound. But you know what? I'll take it. I will take it. Jaylen Tyson will be something. I am a heavy believer in this young man. Everything that we have heard about him screams eventual rotation player. And he is not even the only one on the Cavs bench deserving of minutes who is not likely to be a key rotation member come the playoffs. But it was nice to see him get some real rotational burn after the performance against New Orleans, where he put up 16 and 11 and 7. So props to him. Props to the coaching staff for giving him that shot tonight. And although he wasn't necessarily needed, it was cool to have him. Just another one of those guys. Speaking of players to enter the rotation, Isaac Okoro and Darius Garland are back. Right, Isaac Okoro. I'll say this, man. Isaac Okoro is a player who will always spark a conversation when it comes to Cavaliers players, right? Because Isaac Okoro picked 5th overall. Love him or hate him, think if he's a bust or not, he is an impactful player one way or another. On this season, Isaac Okoro is averaging just 5.9 points, 2.1 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and shooting 49.2% from the field. But the one area where Isaac Okoro has shown vast improvement is from beyond the arc. The volume is not there, and I get that. He's taking just 2.4 attempts per game, but he's making 1.1 triples, which is on par with his career high. And guess what? He's knocking down a career best 44.4% of his triples entering tonight. Isaac, Mr. Okoro, would finish the game with just 4 attempts, but he would go perfect 4-4, score 10 points. And guess what? He drilled both of his triples. Wide open, no doubt. But here's the thing. As great as Isaac is on the defensive side of the ball, we all know what the deal is with Isaac Okoro. If he has got to get rotation minutes in the playoffs, to me, he has to be able to knock down that shot consistently. That is the end-all, be-all for Isaac Okoro and his development. You know what? I have been damn proud of Isaac Okoro to begin this season. Prior to today's game, like I said, entered shooting 44.4% from three-point distance, but he has been extremely effective as a catch and shooter. He is now, after tonight's game, 18 of 38, or rather 47.4% as a catch and shoot specialist. And look, I know defenses do not respect Okoro from range, as indicated by the fact that prior to tonight's game, 31 of his 35 attempts from range were considered what the NBA deems wide open. If you're unfamiliar with that concept, it is 4 to 6 feet. That's what they consider wide open in the NBA. But he's also shooting 48.4% on those looks. The only way to earn that respect is to continue to knock down that shot, right? It's kind of like a chicken and the egg kind of thing. The only way to really earn that respect is to just knock the shot down with left open. And if you do that enough, the more you do it, eventually teams will start to follow you, right? You're going to generate real gravity. And that's the hope for Isaac Okoro, obviously, that he can begin to generate enough gravity on that shot to become a respectable threat from outside. And to me, that would truly cement him in my eyes as a 3-and-D wing and completely worthy of that draft pick. Right. In a 2020 draft that was just absolutely obscure during COVID, no real scouting. Cavs took a shot in the dark on an area of need that they had at the time, which is perimeter defense, with the hope that that perimeter defender could morph into a 3-and-D wing. You saw him knock down the shot at times at Auburn. It wasn't always accurate. It wasn't always pretty, but he has worked and worked and worked. And although he's in a subsidized role right now, right, playing less than 21 a game, he has been impactful when he's out there. And he drew the start tonight still without Dean Wade available, without Max Strus available, without Karis LeVert available. It's just great to have all of these options and guys who are so young that continue to develop and could get even better than they are right now. I mean, seriously. I mean, our core, we are the core, the Cavaliers core is young as hell. Keep in mind, Donovan Mitchell's just 28 years old. Darius Garland, just 25. Evan Mobley, motherfucker's 23. Just imagine how much better he can get 3 years from now, right? Karis LeVert is kind of the old man out of the real rotation members. You know, you throw George in there too, is at 31, but Karis at 30, I mean, it still seems relatively young. Jared Allen seems like he's been with the Cavaliers forever now. He's only 26. These guys are young. Ty Jerome's 27. Sam Merrill's 28. They're entering that prime area of their careers, right? And then you got all these guys who are not yet in the rotation who are just waiting for their opportunity, right? Jaylen Tyson's just 22. Luke Travers, 23. Craig Porter Jr., who could give you real minutes on any given night, 24 years old. JT Thor, 22. This is a young-ass team. The Cavaliers, their entire roster, they have 1, 2, 3 players in their 30s. That is Tristan Thompson at 33. 33 is their oldest player. A young-ass group. It's a bright future. It's a bright future. This is not the game against a lowly Raptors team, right? It's not the game to sit down here and pound the table and just, you know, to make any specific point. But at the end of the day, a win is a win. And there are certainly things that we loved about tonight's victory. The Ty Jerome, just the absolute resurgence. Again, I don't know what the hell he did during his basically a whole season off due to the ankle injury and surgery. But he must have seriously, I mean, he must have trained in the hyperbolic time chamber, or I don't know, took a senzu bean. I don't know what the fuck he did, but he is playing at levels that I don't think anybody thought he was capable of. And I get it. We all heard about it during the offseason. We heard that he was the MVP of September, but shit, at this rate, he's been the MVP of the team at specific points. Everybody has really had their moments, in the limelight and to shine, but Ty Jerome has been as consistent a player on this roster as there has been. I mean, that is really all I can say. Just such a valuable piece off of this Cavaliers bench. And there is going to come a time where we have to make some tough decisions. And I hope one of the decisions that we make is to keep Ty Jerome around. It's not completely in our control. Ty Jerome, he will have an opportunity to seek how much money he wants, maybe possibly vie for a starting role elsewhere. But I hope the Cavaliers, with all that they have from a contention standpoint, I hope that they are able to sell him on the idea of remaining in Cleveland past this season, even if it's on a deal that he feels he is worth more. Because truth be told, the Cavaliers, they're not likely to be able to offer him top dollar. But at the end of the day, I think the situation that we have here, the relationships that he has with Donovan Mitchell and company, I think that is enough to potentially sell him on the idea of maybe signing a short-term deal here and try to win a championship, right? Pursue a title with this Cavaliers team. That's what I would do. And I can't speak for him, obviously, but holy hell, this Cavaliers team is loaded. And it feels like we didn't do anything in the offseason. But the utilization of the starters, the utilization of the bench has been completely different under Kenny Atkinson. And I think it's all visible. You can see it in the vibes from the team, everybody around the team. No negativity right now. There will be games like we had against Boston where, it seems like the sky is falling in the mainstream media and the Cavaliers are pretenders, whatever, what have you. But truth be told, this is as close to the 2021-22 season filled with vibes and no real pressure that we have been since then. I mean, this is the most fun this team looks like they're having. This is the most fun I'm having since that season, honestly. And it's just been a breath of fresh air. I don't know. Just been awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's game. I know I certainly did. And just on a personal, and I show you guys, I'm sure that you saw me post, but it's been a rough weekend for you, boy. I nearly, no lie, I'm laughing now, but I nearly almost lost my life this weekend. My family almost lost their lives. I was traveling back to Ohio, back where I'm from, Dayton, Ohio, to pick up one of my daughters for the holiday. And snow was just crazy. Snow is crazy in the mountains, traveling from Maryland. And I see the car in front of me swerve off. And I try to do my thing, be a good Samaritan, stop, pull over on the, what do they call it, the shoulder. And as I'm checking on this lady, right, who is trying to get her car out of the rut that she's in right now, because the car is kind of just stuck. I look up and I see a semi truck barreling towards me, and I'm like, oh shit. I no lie, I thought my life was over, guys. I thought it was the end. I thought that I was not going to be able to get out of the way. I thought my family, as a result, was going to get crushed because I made the decision to get out and try and help this poor lady. And as a result, we all could have lost our lives, but we didn't. And God is good. And thankfully, nobody was hurt. It's not the end of the story, but I'll just tell you this. I survived. I have a new outlook, a new perspective on specific things. And I'm just very, very thankful. I say all that to say this is a time to be thankful for things. And one of the things that I'm thankful for is this Cavaliers team. They give me an escape. They give me just a light and sometimes the darkness of this thing that we call life. And I cannot be any happier with this season that we are having, because honestly, sometimes it almost makes me want to tear up thinking about how good of the potential this team is, right? And we haven't even seen them at their full strength. We haven't seen them at their full capacity, which just makes me so damn happy for what they've been able to do, right? And I will be ecstatic once we get Max Strus back, but time will tell. Don't mean to get all mushy on you guys, but man, I'm so happy to have this team as an escape. It brings a lot of joy to my life. It brings a lot of joy to my life to be able to watch this team. And I'll tell you this, the Cavaliers, win or lose, it's always a good time. That's probably a good place to leave it at as we get ready to head into a week filled with Atlanta games, right? Against the grifter known as Trae Young. God, I cannot stand that guy. Good player. Just the foul grifting just gets on my nerves. I'll leave it at that. As I always tell you guys, if you would like to reach out to me, you know how you can. It's Cavalier_pod on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. If you want to be added to the It's Cavalier Discord chat, you know what to do. Leave a rating, leave a review, send a screenshot of said review to It's Cavalier53 at gmail.com, and I will send you said invite. If you're watching over on X by chance, hop on over to YouTube, hit that like button. If you're not yet subscribed to the It's Cavalier podcast, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on all these live streams. I mean, as Double J says down here, just do it. Do it, Bando. Oh, man. It's been a great night, guys. Go Cavs.